whole new episode of the USA Today Football Recruiting HQ right here on the Varsity Sports Network. John Santucci has got a great show tonight with Dwayne Mack, the North Fort Myers head coach, also the legend, Dwight Thomas from Catapult Sports, Peter Pazensky from Jesuit High School, and then Wilkie Denard, the edge rusher from John Carroll Catholic. Get ready. John's got a whole new episode of the USA Today Football Recruiting HQ right here on VSN. We'll be back right after these messages.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
Hey, it's John Santucci here on Recruiting HQ on VSN. Appreciate you jumping back. And we are so excited. I say we, Chris couldn't make it. So excited about our next guest, the great and wonderful, I feel like I have to say wizard after that, but the man, the myth, the legend, Dwight Thomas. If you don't know him, you absolutely should. Certainly first line of his bio was Emmitt Smith's coach at Escambia. So let's start with that. But Coach, how we doing? It's good to see you.
Doing great, buddy. I mean, when people find out what you and I do, they'll say, or for me, a little bit different with you because you're more fan based. I am strictly subscription based from college coaches. I don't call the kids. I don't charge them. They're not in the equation. They are the equation, but they're not in the equation.
Right.
I go through the head coaches. I go through all 590 head coaches in Florida because I'm a head coach, and I that's all I know. I know the coaches. I trust them. I go through them. I help them to promote their program. Catapult Sports we're a national recruiting service. We cover all 50 states. We have a Dwight Thomas in every state.
There's no such thing as another Dwight Thomas. Let's just get that straight off the bat.
Oh, man, you know how to make. Everybody needs a pad every now and then. I just got one. But all that we do is to promote the players and what we see and what we hear, and we do it through the coaches. Because I don't go anywhere without these 590 guys trusting me, and I don't want to lose my trust with any of them or them not trusting me, because they know that I'm not going to call the kids. I'm not going to charge the kids. I've done this 25 years and no kids ever paid a penny. Totally use the college recruiting budget to fund everything that I do, which is what their money is for. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Dwight, now look, again, didn't really say it well because I was trying, there's so many things in your bio I'm trying to get to very quickly, but in my opinion, you're one of the 2 or 3 guys that when I start looking at scouting and talking to other guys, you're one of the guys whose opinion's right at the top. And you and I obviously bump into each other quite often during the season at games. Let's start with this. You're in Northeast Florida.
Yes.
Give me some of the top guys that you've seen in your backyard this season.
Okay. And hopefully I don't talk too much. When you need to cut me off, or let's go some other direction, or let's go to somebody else or something, jump in there, because this is your show. I am your guest. I'm going to start with my favorite player in the state of Florida. I don't profess that I know everything about every school and every player in Florida. I try. If I miss one, it's because I haven't tried. It's not because I haven't tried. But Grayson Howard, if there is a better person, a better looking, we all do the eyeball test.
Right.
We as they step off the bus, or they warming up, or they're playing the game, we're all wanting to get up close to him because we know I'm 6'1 3/4. So I know I'm just doing that all the time. But Grayson Howard is a force. He is my number one.
Andrew Jackson, linebacker, just for those
yes, sir.
who aren't aware.
109 tackles, 18 tackles for loss and sacks, 4 quarterback hurries, 3 recovered fumbles, 1 forced fumble. Committed to South Carolina. I'm crying. I'm pouting about that. My goal, this may sound corny to you, but you know me, so I can say it to you. My goal is to keep our players in Florida and get us back to where we used to be when our only losses were to each other.
Right.
And we were going for national championship because we retained our players. We don't retain them now, and it just drives me crazy and kills me. And here is my number one guy. And not saying that I'm imported or who my number one guy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that my number one guy, person-wise, player-wise, athlete-wise, eyeball test-wise, academic-wise, everything. There's nobody in this guy's league to me. 41 offers.
Yeah,
Number
listen,
2
Grayson
is
Howard. Wait, let me just jump in real quick.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
When
it.
you average close to 20 tackles a game in Florida, I don't care who you are. That's impressive. The fact that he's done it consistently every week against some really good teams. And like you said, the guy absolutely passes the eyeball test. The interactions I've had with him, he's incredibly impressive. I think South Carolina is getting a steal, and I think they're going to have a hard time just from the outside. That has nothing to do with Grayson or his personality or whether he's wavering or any of those things. I think they're going to have a hard time keeping him because I think anybody that was kind of sleeping on him during the summer is awake now. And so I think there's going to be a strong push from several schools, not just the state schools. I think you're going to see some of the bigger SEC boys trying to get in on him because they're going to put his film in and their jaws are going to hit the floor. Absolutely agree with you on him.
Thank you, John. That backs me up. Number 2 should be number 1, but my number 2 is Trayvon Webb. Trinity Christian, when that young man is healthy and running the football, oh my God, I'm not going to say he's Emmitt Smith. I'll never say anybody's Emmitt Smith, but I am telling you that guy will blow it up in there. And he is committed to Florida, thank goodness, 45 offers. And, you know, he's not a 1,000-yard rusher this year so far. They have another running back there that's really, really good too. And he's really, really little, but he's really good. And so, so they're sort of splitting it. They got the number 1 quarterback in the world, and he's a sophomore. So, I mean, you know the rest of that story. We'll see him play several more times. What do you think about Webb? I'll do it.
Huge fan. Listen, I the 2 ifs you said are the exact same ifs I said, right? If he's healthy and if he's running the ball, and obviously if he's healthy, he is running the ball. We're filming this right after the game against University, and that 93-yard run he had was, if not the best run you'll see all year, it's got to be top 3. Big back, right? I mean, we're not just talking about a guy who's not trying to avoid contact. He'll go through you, he'll go over you, and he'll enjoy it. So, huge Trayon Webb fan.
Okay. Number 3, Sheriff Denson, Bartram Trail's cornerback. If we all use this word, lockdown corner. If we all say lockdown corner. This guy impressed clever. Anything, this guy, nobody, they don't even try to go over there. That's why he doesn't have a lot of tackles. He's got 21 this year. Right. But then those are solo. And they do every now and then try to go over there, but he'll come off the block and make the tackle. So talk about engage, come off, separate, you're down. What do you think about Sharif?
Big fan. Love his attitude, right? Like he thinks like an alpha. And I've said this before, not sure how tall he is, probably in that 5'11" range. He thinks he's 6'4", 6'5", just his attitude. The only guy I've ever seen really give him trouble was Marcus Peterson in a spring game a couple of years ago.
We were together.
And Peterson is just a size mismatch, right? I mean, here's a guy who is, how big was he? 6'3", 215. Sharif is certainly not that size. So he was just able to wall him off. But that was also 2 years ago with a kid who's older than him. So I really like Sharif. I could see him playing either outside or in the slot in college, and I think he'll be fine.
Monster. He's a monster. Jordan Hall, number 4. West Side, 39 offers. so far, we are Florida. Sharice committed to Florida. I don't even know if I failed to say that. I should have said that first. But here comes our first one that hadn't committed, to my knowledge. And if he doesn't, something, please tell me. But I went to his game the other night, and this guy we truly say can bend and run and physical and stay with it and block, finisher and end up on top. A lot of things you're going to be saying. And he is a heck of a defensive player. He controls the line of scrimmage, keeps his shoulders square, he moves up and down. He's a force.
Yeah.
Love Big Baby.
I'd probably put Jordan at number 1 in Northeast Florida. Again, you see these guys more than I do, but of the guys I've seen and of the list you've had, and that's certainly not a shot. I'm a huge Jordan Hall fan. I think he's probably the best interior lineman. Him and John Walker, I'd put 1 in 1A or 1 in 1A, 1B, whatever, out of Osceola. But I really, really like Jordan Hall. He's violent the right way, I like him.
Dance. I mean, pregame warm up, he's jiving. He's getting ready to go. The guys, he's loose. Love them.
Absolutely.
Roderick Kearney, offensive tackle at Orange Park, is our enforcer up here. Committed to Florida State.
Yeah.
Yay. Have you seen him play?
I have. Where do you think he plays at the next level? I think he bumps inside. What do you think?
I do too. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
Number 6, Kenton Kirkland reigns a force. He will sting you and he will hurt you and he will look you up. And he can play a lot of positions. He is done a lot and committed to Florida State. Yay.
Where do you, another one you just mentioned, he plays a lot of positions. I've seen him at safety. I've seen him at corner. He does not give you room to breathe if you're in man coverage. And if he's playing safety, he comes downhill in a hurry. Where do you see him best at the next level, in your opinion?
Now, that's a good question. And that'll be a topic for them to discuss in their locker room, whoever looks up and gets him. Because he's got the height, he's got the range, he's got the force. He's got it all. Safety, answer your question. All right. Okay. Another strong safety, committed to Florida. Yeah. Jaden Robinson from Columbia. I have watched him since 8th grade. Did he start in the 8th? I know he started in 9th. I know he's a 4-year starter, maybe a letterman in the 8th. I mean, he's got it all. He is put together. He brings the lumber. High on my list, number 7.
I'm going to give you a comparison when I watch him, and I think he reminds me a lot of Matt Milano from the Bills. If Milano was just a little bit not as thick as he is, he's probably playing safety. He's that guy he can go sideline to sideline. He can play in the box. He can come downhill, but he can also drop back in coverage and really give you good coverage skills. I think Jaden's kind of that modern day. You said safety. I see him as a modern day linebacker, a little bit of an undersized linebacker, but he can fly. He can go all over the place. He's not gonna. He trusts his eyes, and he does a really good job with that. But like you said, very well put together, very physical. I really like him, and it'll be interesting to see how Florida uses him.
Yeah, I agree. 28 offers. And did I mention he committed to Florida? Did I mention that?
You're sneaking those in. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Now here comes another one they got to come and get because he hadn't committed yet. And I love this guy. And I've been watching, and I know he started in the 8th grade because he's a University Christian. Cesario Riles, quarterback. They moved him to outside linebacker. Strong. He's intriguing and got the length.
He's a good athlete too, right?
Offers.
Good athlete. You always like guys that have that athleticism because that can cover up a multitude of sins. And I'm not saying he's got a bunch, but if you can out athlete somebody, you start off in a good place. So I like him a lot just for his athleticism and his length.
I can't wait to see 2 things: where he goes and where they play him.
Yeah.
Devon Patterson, Ed White's had a really good year here, and this is the guy because he goes at running backs and puts in the end zone, goes on defense, makes interception. This guy is very, very good, committed to Wake Forest. They're getting a player here, and no doubt in my mind. He's got 19 offers and can play either side of the ball, so they can't lose.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you on every, and just so people know, when Dwight says a guy, he really likes those guys that can score on offense and then turn around and play defense and get the ball back. That he's big fan of those guys. I am too. So when he starts talking about a guy who can do that, should make your ears perk up just a little bit. I agree with you, and I would add this too. I think Wake Forest has done a really good job in the state of Florida this cycle. When you look at, I told you off camera, Micah Mays is a guy from Benjamin that I'm a huge fan of. I think that is a absolute steal for them. They got the defensive lineman from Dwyer in Palm Beach Gardens, another really good player that again, these are guys that are valuing education as much as they value athletics. But they're getting really good players, right? They're not just getting high IQ guys who can't ball.
That's right.
Legit.
Coach Adams, Coach Adams, the safety coach at Wake. I look up in the stands the other night. I'm at Sandalwood and they played. And there he was. He's there looking right there, and he found him two in there too. I guarantee you.
For sure.
You know exactly what you're talking about.
Let me switch gears. That was your top 10 guys in Northeast Florida. Let's talk about, just very quickly and maybe a little more generically, because we're going to bump up against time real soon. You and I said we can do 15 minutes on an intro. Best wide receiver class in a while, in your opinion, this class that we have right now? Class of 2023?
Let me assure you of that. And the guys, I'll just hit you with mine. My favorite guy in the whole state of Florida, my number one guy, and has been there for 2 years, is Brandon Ennis. That is, if I get one guy in the state of Florida in this class, Brandon Ennis is the guy I'm taking.
I'll stop you when I disagree with you. I'm a really big fan as a wide receiver. He's the number one guy on our board at that position. To be honest, as good as he is at receiver, I would not be stunned to see somebody, especially if he goes to Ohio State and that receiver room's as crowded as it looks, wouldn't be stunned if they put him at safety in practice just to see how it looks, because he looks dynamic at safety. The thing I like most about Ennis, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, to me, he is the alpha of alphas. When he is on the field, there is no question that he believes, and 99.99% of the time is the most dynamic, skilled, athletic. You fill in the blank. He's complete, right? Yeah. You don't see a big hole in his game, but I just love his mindset. He's such an alpha. What is it to you that really stands out about Ennis?
Oh, just productivity. I love putting in a comment of go-to guy.
Yeah.
And in my comments when I evaluate players, I love, and I put that very rarely, but I put that guy, I've had a go-to guy by him now for 2 years. That because he is the same every game, same attitude, same productivity, electrifying. Every cliche that you can come up with about a receiver, and each one of us have a different cliche or something that we like to say about receivers, or any position really for that matter. He'd be number one in every one of them on everybody's list in that regard, because he's complete. And you said it well just then.
Yeah, Dwight, I think it was interesting. I saw him against, I've seen him 3 times this season. And one of them was Chaminade, which has their own wide receivers mostly for next year. But 2
of them on my top 10 here. Yeah,
sure. And a ball went off his hands, and one person who's been covering him for 4 years turned to me and said, "That's the first time I've ever seen him look human."
Whoa.
The fact that you make a statement like that, and especially who it was that said it to me, that just screamed to me how unbelievably talented this player is, that when they do something that's not perfect, that everybody that's the surprise, right? Because you've come to expect the extraordinary from him. Dwight, we're going to bump up against time. So let me just ask you this last thing. Talk about the Merritt Island reunion coming up.
2 marquee games coming up here. One, Bartram Trail and Buchholz this Friday. I'll be at that. Hopefully I'll see you there. That's for everything up here. 50 years ago in 1972, I was coaching at Merritt Island High School. We went 14-0, undefeated state champions. Played in Bobby Bowden Stadium, too, for the state championships, the Leon Lions, who gave me my first job. So it was everything from me. We're having and I can't believe this, 50 years since we won that. We're having that this weekend. Merritt Island is playing satellite, so we'll have a reunion of all the coaches and players at that. And I'm going to slide over to see all Galley and Rockledge. Thank you for letting me talk to you, John.
No, man, we appreciate it. I wish we had more time, but as always, Dwight, so appreciate you and what you do. And every time I talk to you, it's a learning experience. So thanks, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
The market for the finest athletic apparel available? Check out theimperialpoint.com. Fully sublimated designs, top quality, made in the USA apparel for any team and any fan. Check them out today at theimperialpoint.com or give them a call at 800-801-4884. Imperial Point Apparel, made in the USA.
Sharing the road is everyone's responsibility. Riders, wear protective gear, make yourself visible, and follow traffic laws. Drivers, look twice for motorcycles. Use caution when changing lanes. Motorcycles may be hard to see. And maintain 4 seconds of following distance. Motorcycles can slow down without activating a brake light. Find out more ways to stay safe. Share the road, Florida, and arrive alive.
Hey, it's John Santucci from USA Today. We are back on VSN on Recruiting HQ. Very excited about our next guest from Tampa, all the way from Jesuit. He's got a state championship ring. I don't think he's wearing it right now, though.
I can get it. Got it right here.
It's up to you, man. Peter Pizanski, how we doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Really excited to have you on. I've seen you play several times. Super impressive. Let's jump right into your recruiting. You have seen your recruiting pick up quite a bit this year. To me, I just say it's about time, but let's go back. Talk to me about your first offer, which I think came about this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier, but just what was that like and what was the emotion like behind getting that first one?
Well, my first offer, it was surreal because I hadn't played football in middle school. And then I come to Jesuit. We moved here because of COVID, and I start playing football, and I'm starting. And then that spring, I get a Division I offer, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is real." It was just
For
like
people who don't know, who is that from?
Virginia Tech.
Okay. Did that mean more to you? I mean, no offense to a divisional school or something, where it's like West, East, North, South, Central.
Yeah.
That's a Power 5 program. They've been in the national championship game. I mean, what's it like to get your first one from a P5?
I couldn't really comprehend it then. I was like, I just turned 15. It was surreal. It was crazy.
That's awesome. All right. So, you've seen your recruiting pick up this year. Certainly Wake has offered, Louisville has offered, several others. What's this process been like for you now that these offers are starting to roll in and you haven't even gotten to that spring of your junior year?
Yeah. I mean, it's been really, really fulfilling because I've been working really hard all summer, and then get to the season and playing good, and I get these offers. It's just, it's like a reward for all the hard work. And then, it's still surreal. Like, I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, this Division I school wants me to play for them.
Right.
just like, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I never had those opportunities. All right, let's just go straight to this, man. You talked about how hard you worked. I love these stats. Let me throw out a couple stats. Last year, you had 3 sacks. Obviously, you're a sophomore on a loaded team. 25 hurries.
Six.
What's
Six
that?
sacks. 6 sacks.
Oh, you got to tell your coach to update max preps then.
Oh,
All right,
they
so
always
6
they
sacks.
do me dirty on max preps.
And how many hurries do you think you had last year? Do you know it?
Somewhere around 30.
Okay, so let's say 6 and 30. This year, how does 8 sacks sound? Does that sound right?
Yeah, right so far.
All right.
Yeah.
And they've got you with 11 hurries, which sounds like you've gone down, but your sacks are up. You've already surpassed last year.
Well, on our
What
stat
do you-
sheet, I got like 20 hurries. So
Okay,
max
so you're
preps-
saying
max
8 and
preps
20?
is- Yeah, so far.
All right,
That's it.
we need to have a chat with your coach about making sure all
Yeah.
your numbers are right.
My dad
So-
tries every
All right, what do you account for getting to the quarterback more? You've already had more sacks in 7 games than you had in 16 last year. So what do you
Yep.
account that for?
all the off-season training, lifting. I got like almost double in strength over this summer. And I was training a lot at the Trench Academy with Coach Taylor Scott. He works with a bunch of NFL guys, and I think that's the main reason on my pass rush. I'm really getting to the QB.
Now, when you go through that, is it just strength? Obviously, you're working on specific moves. Is there one move that you're, a couple moves that you really tried to improve over the offseason?
I really got the 2-hand swipe down, the arm over chop, and I love getting physical. So the bull pull, the push pull, I love doing that.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you about some of your teammates, right? We talked about Jesuit before, really good team.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys aren't undefeated this year, but still a loaded team who's played an absolutely difficult schedule, right? Week in, week out,
Yeah.
you're playing one of the best teams in the state. Let's start with this. You've had a couple really good running backs since you've been there, right? You had Junior Vanderos last year. He's at Toledo now. Joe Smith, who I really love, is headed to Temple.
Yep.
Let's put you on the spot. Which one of those 2 guys is harder to tackle?
Junior. I love Joe, but Junior was just like, he had some super special God-given abilities. He was our punter, and there was some fake punts. He would break 10 tackles and get a first down on a fake punt that he wasn't supposed to do. He was
Right, just so we know, because obviously, the coach is going to probably say that was supposed to happen. If you're on the sideline and he was supposed to punt and he does it, but he gets the first down, what does coach's response sound like in that?
Well,
moment?
he's not very surprised because Junior was just Junior. He was just different.
All right. Let's go with this. Not a teammate. Who do you think is the toughest quarterback you've ever had to go against?
Quarterback, the Pine Forest quarterback last year.
In the state championship game.
Yeah,
Why?
he
What
was-
made him so tough?
I mean, he was huge and he ran hard. So
High school
he had a
version of
couple, he had a
Josh
couple
Allen, I
good
guess.
passes in that game too, but he was as big as me at quarterback. So
You're not used to that, right?
no.
All right. What about offensive linemen? Who do you think's the toughest O lineman you've ever had to go up against?
Last year, Aquinas, Armella, we were just battling all game. I think I might have got the best of him last year. So
Well, he's at Florida State now, so that's definitely a good
Yeah.
one to have on your
I
resume.
saw him when I went up there. I saw him warming up.
All right, let's go to this one. You guys got a lot of really good players, like we said. What have you learned from watching some of those guys go through the process, right? You've got Troy Bowles, who's, committed to Georgia. He's obviously been going through the process for years. When you look at a guy like him or some of the guys you had last year, what do you learn from watching them go through the process?
It's different for everyone, and it's crazy how different it can be for some people, and you just gotta wait it out. And sometimes you gotta prove yourself in different ways, going to the camps and stuff. Like Troy, he wouldn't have needed to go to the camps because everyone knew he was just Troy Bowles. Like other people need to go to the camps to prove themselves because
Right.
they're not as well known as him. So
Gotcha. All right. Last thing, I want to let you hype your boys a little bit. Give me 2 guys on your team that have absolutely gone under the radar, but you see them every day. You know they can ball.
Wesley Shaw, our lineman. We train together, we go together. At Trench Academy, he's the only guy who can block me when we do one-on-ones. He's definitely the main one. I gotta think
Got
about
one
someone
more?
first. Andre Gilbert,
Okay.
DB.
Why?
He's so fast. And he's smart. He knows what he's doing. He's a good leader on the team. He's a great kid too. Works
Awesome.
hard. He works really hard.
All right, let me ask you one more thing. I think I said the last one is the last one. I lied.
Fine.
You guys have had a really challenging. I don't mean challenging like hard. I mean like you played a hard schedule.
Oh yeah.
When you get into the postseason, how much do you rely on what you learned last year, having gone all the way?
I mean, we just know we gotta kick it to another level. This year, Coach Thompson purposely made our schedule extra hard, so this new team would be ready for the playoffs. Like last year, we had a lot of returning players who knew what it was like, and this year we got like 90% of our starters have never lost a game. So he wanted to really get everyone ready for the playoffs, and I think that's happened this year. I think we're going to be ready going in.
Well, trust me, I don't think anybody's going to want to play you come second week in November. So, hey, man, congrats again on the offers. Congrats on the season you're having. It's been so much fun watching you and just watching you develop and improve. So, congrats on that, and best of luck going forward, man.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a
thanks.
Good night.
Marijuana can impair your ability to drive, and that affects much more than just you. Drive baked, get busted.
Are you in the market for the finest athletic apparel available? Check out theimperialpoint.com. Fully sublimated designs, top quality, made in the USA apparel for any team and any fan. Check them out today at theimperialpoint.com or give them a call at 800-801-4884. Imperial Point Apparel, made in the USA.
Road is everyone's responsibility. Riders, be seen. Wear reflective gear and use front and rear lights after dark. Drivers, when passing a bicyclist, give a minimum of 3 feet. Find out more ways to stay safe. Share the road, Florida, and arrive alive.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected, but somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path, where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling, united by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's John Santucci. We are back here on VSN with Recruiting HQ. Very excited to be joined by North Fort Myers head coach Dwayne Mack. Coach, how we doing?
Doing all right, man. Thank you for joining us, coming out of practice early in the morning and hosting me on this recruiting headquarters.
Yeah, what was that? 6:45, I think we were out there. That was pretty early. All right, so for people who don't know, you guys are kind of displaced right now as we're recording this. You've been practicing at Island Coast, right?
Yes, sir. Island Coast High School.
You know, your school, I was there recently. Your school had power restored, or most of it. Still other issues they're dealing with, air quality, things like that. You told me yourself you didn't get power back until a week ago. What in the world, what's this been like for you dealing with everything with Hurricane Ian, and what's it been like for your players?
I just think that our players are very resilient. And again, as we talked earlier, I think that we don't give kids enough credit. Kids are very resilient. I mean, again, we still have kids without power that's stationed in Pine Island and Matlacha that are still showing up and coming to practice. We have some players that we have to go pick up because they didn't lost their cars and different things like that due to Hurricane Ivan. So again, I think for the coaching staff, it's just a way for us to get around the players, some sense of normalcy in their routine throughout the day. And football has been a key part of it. Like I say, we have resilient kids. I mean, we told the first day we started on the Saturday, the state of Florida gave us the permission to practice on the Sunday. And the first day we had about 80% of our kids there. That Sunday we had about 90 to 95%. And from that point on, we didn't have kids that's there. We miss a kid here and there because maybe they have to work because, again, with insurance deductibles and things like that, they have to help their parents. So they're like, hey, coach, I got to leave practice early for this point or another, or even to help them move to a different place. But kids are resilient, man. I think we don't give kids enough credit. And again, our kids, and I say other kids in the county, have been resilient and shown up to practice to get a sense of normalcy. And again, just last week, we had a game with the number one running back in the country, Lehigh Richard Young, and played Charlotte County. And Charlotte High School was hit pretty hard too. So, I mean, it's been getting back to normalcy has been pretty good.
How big is that, do you think, for your players? Like you said, they're resilient. I was out there, that nobody, they're not going around crying or anything. They're ready to ball. But how important is it, do you think, just that to get them together, to get them to that any kind of routine, even if you're not in school yet? What's that like, getting them back into that routine?
I know I'm speaking for myself. I mean, being part of a hurricane, I'm born and raised Florida, raised in Tallahassee, went to college in West Virginia, came down here, been 21 years. And that was a different type of storm I'd never been a part of. Right. Anytime a hurricane come through, just the whole Florida mentality, or just another hurricane, whatever. But it started like at 6 o'clock in the morning and didn't end to 8 o'clock. I mean, I'll say 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So, I mean, just constant, your cell phone service going on. We're trying to text kids to see if they're okay. So when the storm passed, you're trying to contact kids and get in contact with kids, because a lot of our kids, the I went over where a lot of our kids stay. All right. So we're trying to get in contact with them. And just to hear their voice, and then like, coach, when we going to practice, when we going to get together, because they want to be coming. You have a brotherhood. That's one thing I always say about football. Football is a brotherhood. I mean, again, if anybody want to do anything about just social society and interaction, I think football is the sport, because you have white, black, Hispanic, rich, poor, the social dynamics of it, economics of it. And our guys just wanted to be together. It was amazing just seeing our guys together. And I mean, you witness it, they're giving each other hugs and asking they're all right and stuff like that. I mean, that is the beauty of the game and the beauty of sports that I think that people lose insight of it, that the brotherhood of people from different backgrounds, socioeconomics coming together just for one common goal.
Coach, talk about what was going right for your team pre-hurricane, right? You guys are 3-1. Unfortunately, it's been a while since you played, but really good start. The only loss was against Dunbar. I've talked to several people around your program. They all, kind of feel like, hey, we definitely had our opportunities in that loss. So what's gone right for your team, and what are you excited about right now?
Well, again, it was 3-1. We just finished played a game, which was, Lemon Bay, which scored a lot of points. Dunbar lost. Again, we was inside of the 5-yard line 3 times. We couldn't score. Hats off to Coach Brown and his defense. But again, I think that when we left that game, we thought that we should have won. But again, people going to judge you on the score. So from that point, we've been rolling. We haven't played a game since September 16th. We was on a bye week, actually, and when the storm hit, so our kids are just ready to play. I mean, in practice, the kids are, just the chemistry is going well. Our kids are just hungry and ready to play. We thought that we were going to get a game next week, but there's other schools in the county that wasn't fortunate enough to start practice at the same time as us. So, again, we just want to play, and we want to play against Mariner High School, which, again, is a district game, and our kids just want to get on the field and have opportunity to get film, because for us, we have a lot of guys that are Division I players, Power 5 players, and guys who want to play on the next level, but they didn't get the film. There's other schools in the county in the state of Florida are getting that film. Whereas us, we're out 3 weeks. So again, we're coming in on week 8 right now, and that is important film that our kids can get to colleges for evaluation. So again, I think that, again, with the storm, it happened, but it hurt our guys film-wise. Sure. Again, so they can get that film so college coaches can evaluate them.
All right, let's talk about a couple guys that colleges do know. We're going to play a little word association. And let's start with Bo Somerset, who's committed to FAMU. Give me one word to describe Bo.
Athlete. Just can play it all. Can play quarterback, running back, slot, receiver, DB, outside linebacker. Again, and he has a connection. He had a lot of D1 offers. But again, it's like I say, what Coach Prime is doing in the HBCU route, You have a guy like Levante Somerset. We call it, his name is Bo. Kind of grew up in Tallahassee, has family in Tallahassee, and he says that family is the right fit. I mean, again, I've been up to a family game. Just so happened when the hurricane hit, we had I went to a Florida State game in the morning. I mean, in midday, and then went to a family game at night. And again, Coach Simmons and Coach Richards and our whole staff got a good thing going there, and he wants to be a part of that.
All right, let's go with another guy you introduced me to, Western Michigan commit, edge rusher Artavius Weaver.
Western Kentucky, Artavius Weaver, underrated.
Did I get the wrong Western?
Yes. One of those directional schools, Western Kentucky. 4-year starter, coach. I mean, the kid had, again, Purdue, Indiana, and then in basketball season, went up to dunk on the kid. I mean, he's a heck of a basketball player. If you watch him too, I mean, kid 6'4", 245, can run up and down the court, can do any dunk you want. Went up in district play, dunked over a kid, came down, blew out his knee. A lot of those schools backed off, but Western Kentucky, again, hats off to their staff, was on him. And again, and now he's committed to Western Kentucky. I think that he's a 4-year starter for us, an edge rusher. If you watch him, lone kid, smart kid, and I think he's a really good player. I think that some kid, Western Kentucky is getting a steal.
All right, let's go to some of your 2-year juniors. Let's start with Andre Devine.
Well, again, Andre Devine, you hear the last name you think about his dad, Noel Devine, explosive. Again, the kid is another kid that can play running back, slot, wide receiver, corner, and just an explosive kid. Went up to West Virginia, got an offer from West Virginia, got an offer from USF, Middle Tennessee State. So an explosive kid. You may see his size and stature, but he's explosive just like his dad.
And then last one, Jaden Jones.
Hands. If it's in his radius, he's going to catch it. I mean, I just seen the kid do some catches in practice that are unreal. One-handed catches. The ball can be behind him. He's jumping in the air, catching it with one hand. If you throw the ball anywhere in his radius, he's going to catch it.
All right, and then Coach, I know just being at practice, you're excited about a lot of your guys. So not everybody's got offers, but that doesn't mean they can't ball. So who are a couple of the guys on your team that you're like, man, they're just under recruited. All they need is either that film or they just need the right person to see them play?
2 guys in particular will be a guy named Adrian Stone Jr. Again, he went up to Louisville and talked with Coach Ivy, the D-line coach, and D-line coach. Coach Ivy liked him a lot. If you watch him, he is probably the best defensive player in our county. And again, from a defensive line standpoint, again, 6'3", 275, explosive kid. If you cut on his tape, I mean, a lot of coaches in the area think that he may be the best defensive player in the area. And again, we got a kid, Sean Ross Jr. at Dunbar, who's a Power 5 kid. And again, and Lehigh has also some kids that are Power 5 kids. But when you watch the tape of again, Adrian Stone Jr., he's explosive. And he plays with the mean streak. And again, that's why even in practice, I have to tell him, like, Stone, chill out. Because again, he's just an angry kid who he's going to let you know that, again, that he's there in practice. He doesn't take practice off. He's constantly trying to hit our quarterback. You have to tell him to chill out. But again, a great kid, and he loved the game of football. He's constantly asking, he wants to get better.
Worried about your quarterbacks now. All right, you said you had 2. Who's the other one?
Again, Rashad Snow. So Rashad Snow was a starter at Homestead High School as a freshman. But then just so happens, things happened. He had to transfer over and move over to this coast. And just so happened, I was fortunate enough to get him. But he didn't play his 10th grade year due to academic reasons. But again, he bust his butt, came to practice every day. And that's the thing that I love about the kid, because some kids would find an reason not to come to practice. Came to practice every day, got his GPA up, doing outstanding in the classroom now, different environment. And our kids at our school at North Fort Myers, our administration and teachers do a great job, because we have a football tradition at our school, again, with Deion Sanders, Javon Kirk, Trey Boston. I mean, the list goes on, Tommy Bohannon and all those guys. So he's eligible now. And again, when I say the kid is a player, just check his film. I mean, the kid is a lockdown corner, guaranteed. You watch him from his freshman year to now. So now he's about 175. Now he's about 6'1". Great player and explosive player. Ran track in the offseason when he became eligible in the spring. I mean, was winning the 200, and he is fast.
Awesome. Coach, we're up against time. I really, really appreciate you joining us, taking some time away, and we are all praying for you guys over there.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for coming down. And again, thank you guys for keeping Southwest Florida in your prayers. And again, we're going to rebuild back. And again, thank you guys again for USA and what you do. And we appreciate you on this coast.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you.
When you're under the influence of marijuana and you choose to get behind the wheel, you know it's wrong. And you can affect countless people. So if you don't think about them, you'll answer to us. Drive baked, get busted.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected, but somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling. United by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
We wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. One of the most important, yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.
In the market for the finest athletic apparel available, check out theimperialpoint.com. Fully sublimated designs, top quality, made in the USA apparel for any team and any fan. Check them out today at theimperialpoint.com or give them a call at 800-801-4884. Imperial Point Apparel, made in the USA.
Hey, it's John Santucci. We are back here on VSN. This is Recruiting HQ. Very excited to be joined by somebody that I've known, man, for a while, bro. It's been a long time. John Carroll Catholic, edge rusher, Wilkie Denard. How we doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you jumping on. You are committed to Auburn, so let's start right there. Can you just kind of walk me through the process of, you've been getting offers since your freshman year. So how do you get down, just start narrowing that list down? And obviously you got to 4, I think in June or July, and then ultimately Auburn. Can you just walk me through what that process was like getting down to 1?
I mean, well, it started with having a lot of options, more options than other people. And it just came down to like relationships, how I fit in their scheme, and Auburn was just the best fitting for me.
Talk about the guys who recruited you to Auburn, what those how you've been building those relationships, things like that.
Coach Rock, I pretty much say that every time. I mean, he's the reason that I felt so strong about Auburn. He kind of guided me through how he recruits and what he sees in me, how I can come in and make an impact for them. So I would say it was probably Coach Rock the most influential out of them.
All right, let me throw this one at you, because you and I talked about a year ago, and you said you saw yourself as an inside guy. You thought you'd play inside in college. And then I don't know what happened, but it seems like you've been playing more and more outside. Obviously, you've played both positions in high school as well as O-line. Now that you're getting closer to college, where do you see yourself at the next level?
Most of all the coaches that look at me, they're kind of recruiting me at the edge rusher. Early on, it was just more of I was fitting where my team needed me. And now I've kind of grown into an edge rusher.
What's the biggest difference, even in high school? What's the biggest difference between lining up on the edge and lining up inside?
You don't have to fight much double teams. It's more of a one-on-one. And then you just have those little coverages too.
What's it been like for you not playing on the offensive line this year? And I think, and I know you've heard this, right? That everybody was like, man, he doesn't make enough explosive plays. And I'm always saying the guy's pretty tired, right? He's going both ways and he's playing a lot of offense. What's it like now just being able to let loose on defense?
I mean, I've felt it a little difference in my endurance in the game. I mean, second half, I still have enough energy to compete and have those explosive plays in the second half of the game. So it's definitely been a big game changer for me.
Talk about your John Carroll team. You guys, you know, as we're recording this, I think you're 5-1, 6-1, something like that. Talk about how good this team's been, because, you know, depending on the ranking, you guys have been top 3 basically all year. So what's that like for you being near the top?
Yeah, I mean, our group, we have a good, great group on both sides of the ball. Coach Grudy leading the offense and Coach Lou leading the defense. But I would just say, everybody wants to have that big goal as the state championship, and I feel like everybody has the right mindset right now on our team to be able to make that happen. And it just starts with us coming in every day and competing.
You guys have been in the regional final 2 years in a row. What did you learn from those 2 runs? Obviously 2 very different teams, right? One of them was very Jay Allen centric. And then last year, I think, you know, just a different makeup of your team. Now you've got a different vibe. Each year is going to have a different vibe. So what do you learn though from those last 2 years of making that run?
Just we got to get better, got to compete. Those guys work as much as we do, and they want it as bad as we do. So we just have to be able to fight through adversity and come out on top.
All right. I always love to give guys a couple minutes to brag on their teammates. Give me 2 guys on your team that have gone sadly under recruited that colleges need to wake up to.
Oh, Josh Meltzer and Aiden Singleton. I'll say those 2 right there, one of the most hardest working people. And I feel like they're a little bit underappreciated.
All right. Tell me why. Give me a little bio on both guys.
Well, for both of them, it's really size for them. Most of the college guys, like the high college guys, they want size, and I feel like Aiden has a good size for me, and everything else, he's pretty much capable of doing things that the higher guys can do. And then he just is able to play both sides of the ball with a great IQ on both sides of it. And then Josh Meltzer, he's like the most. I mean, everyone says he's the heart and soul of the team, but he just has that explosion. If you put him on the edge, once you put him inside, he's just always at first off the ball, getting in the backfield, making those big plays in the backfield.
All right, let me ask you 2 more. Who is in your career, 4-year starter, give me the toughest quarterback you've ever had to go against? That could include practice. I'm going to open you up for that one because that seems like an obvious answer, but you go wherever you want.
I mean, Jay Allen he's an okay quarterback. I mean, I was able to compete with him, but
I don't know if you want to start throwing shade at a guy who walks around carrying a baseball bat all the time now. I'm just not sure if that's the smartest move you got.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that would be. I'm not sure. I've faced a lot of quarterbacks. I'm not sure who would be my most toughest opponent.
All right. Do you have a toughest running back you've had to go up against?
I would say I think it was my freshman year. It was the running back from Cardinal Newman. He was a pretty explosive running back. So I would say he was one of the ones who gave me a little challenge.
All right. Now I'm going to try to get you one more in the way back machine. Give me one offensive lineman who gave you a fits.
Probably say either one of the regional games, the final games, Trinity Catholic and Champagnat. They were just most size we've ever seen. So coming to those games compared to the smaller alignment I've seen previous than that, they gave me a little challenge.
For sure. All right. Last one, fill in the blank. John Carroll wins a state championship and you can't say we win all our games. Give me a path to what's the key for you guys to win a state title this year?
If we all just have the right mindset and come in and compete.
Awesome. Hey man, appreciate you. Auburn's getting a monster, and good luck going forward, man.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. Protect your ankles with Prevent Sprain socks.
In sports, we wear all types of equipment to protect ourselves from injury. We use helmets, mouth guards, shoulder pads, chest protectors, and knee, elbow, and shin pads for protection and prevention. One of the most important yet neglected parts of the body are the ankles.
Research shows that more than 30% of all sports injuries are ankle-related, and 62% of all ankle sprains happen during practice and training. Just think about it. Very few sports can be played with an ankle injury, and it can take 1 to 3 weeks to heal, sometimes months to get back to full strength and mobility. Preventing an injury is key in any sport and applies to any job where you're on your feet all day as well.
Prevent Sprain socks were scientifically designed and engineered for support, stability, and performance.
Stay active with PreventSprainSocks.com.